आ आ श्रीभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ओम श्रीमात्रे नमः। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। वर्स नंबर 95। पुरारातेरन्तः पुरमसि ततस्त्वच्चरणयोः। पुरारातेरन्तः पुरमसि ततस्त्वच्चरणयोः। सपर्यामर्यादा तरलकरनाम सुलभा। सपर्या मर्यादा तरलकरणा करणानां सुलभा। पुरारातेरन्तः पुरमसि ततस्त्वच्चरणयोः। सपर्या मर्यादा तरलकरणानां सुलभा। तथा ह्येते नीताः मुखा सिद्धिम् अतुलाम्। तथा ये तथा यो तथा ह्योते नीताः शतमुखा सिद्धिम् अतुलाम्। तव स्थितिभिरणिमाद्याभिरमराः। तव द्वारोपान्तस्थितिभिरणिमाद्याभिरमराः। तथा ह्योते नीताः शतमुखा सिद्धिम् अतुलाम्। तव द्वारोपान्तस्थितिभिरणिमाद्याभिरमराः। पुरारातेरन्तः पुरमसि ततस्त्वच्चरणयोः। सपर्या मर्यादा तरलकरणानामसुलभा। तथा यो ते नीतः शतमखमुखा सिद्धिम् अतुलाम्। तव द्वारोपान्तस्थितिभिरणिमाद्याभिरमराः। पुराराते, पुराराते, the enemy or destroyer of cities. Who is the destroyer of cities?
Tripurahari Shiva.
So Tripurahari, Tripurari, right? Tripurari means he destroyed the three cities. We know the story. There were three sons of Tarakasur, Tarakaksha, Kamalaksha, and Vidyunmali. And they created three cities. They were all floating around. They could be killed with only one arrow. That arrow had to be powerful enough, etc., etc. Beautiful description in Shiva Purana, where the arrow is the tip of the arrow is Vishnu himself, and the wheels are formed with the sun and the moon, and the four Vedas become the horses, and so on and so forth. So basically, essentially saying that Shiva pervades into everything. So this is Purarate, Antapuram Asi, living in the interior of the palace of Shiva. So it is being addressed to her as the person who lives in the interior of the palace of Shiva, which means Shiva's Hriday. That is the interior of the palace of Shiva. Who lives in the interior of the palace of Shiva? Devi lives in the interior of palace of Shiva. Right? So he says, Purarati Antapuramasi, Twacharanayoho, your feet. Right? Tata Twacharanayoho, therefore your feet. Saparya Maryada. Saparya, properly. Right? Worship, Maryada, right of worshipping, having the right of worshipping. Tarala, Tarala here means unsteady, that which is that which flows, which is continuously changing. Karananam means sensory faculties, our indriyas. So tarala karananam, unsteady sensory faculties, asulabha, difficult to attain. Tatahi, there justifiably, in this manner, shata makha. Makha means yagya. Shata means 100. 100 yagyas. If you can do 100 Ashwamedha yagyas, you become Indra. That is was the belief. That is why when Sagar Raja was doing his 100th yagya, the horse got stolen by Indra. And then the horse went to Pata, was kept in Patal Loka, and the sons of Sagar Raja went there. Bhrigu Muni destroyed them, and then Ganga Avataran happened over after a period of time. So Shatamakha, Indra. So here he says, Shatamukha, Mukhaha, Mukha, chief of the gods. Ete Amaraha, Amara, gods. Mukha Ete Amaraha, the chief of the gods. So Shatama, chief of the gods like Indra, who performed 100 sacrifices, 100 Ashwamedha yagyas. Siddhim Atulam, Siddhim, supernatural powers. Atulam, unparalleled, incomparable. Atulam, Tava, yours. Dvaropanta Sthitibihi. Dvaropanta, at the door. Sthitibihi, remaining as gatekeepers. Who are remaining? Animadyabhi nitaha, anitaha. The Anima and all the other Siddhi Devis, they are at the door of Devi. So Devi does not, I mean, these powers are so tuchha, these powers are so small in comparison to Devi that they are actually not even inside and near Devi. They are all waiting at the door. But even those Devis who are Amshas of Devi herself, those Anima and etc. Siddhis, they make these gods and these the devatas so powerful. So just imagine what is the power of those people who worship your feet directly. So what is being talked about here? You are living inside the interior palace, Antapura, reserved for those who are very protected in Shiva's palace. Therefore, those who have not controlled their sensory organs cannot worship your lotus feet. And Indra and the other gods, they become gatekeepers despite the fact that along with Anima and etc., having sharing those powers of Anima, they control those supernatural powers and they become gatekeepers to those to your door. Now, Indriya means the organs of perception, right? The organs of action. Indriya, they are called Gyan Indriya and Karma Indriya. Now, these Gyan Indriya and Karma Indriya, the ruler of the Indriyas is called Indra. So, therefore, Indriya here indicates that Indra here indicates that he who is ruling all the Indriyas, Gyan Indriya and Karma Indriya. Who rules the Indriyas? इंद्रियस के ऊपर इंद्रिय किसके वश में होती है?
इंद्र के वश में.
सो हमारे अंदर में इंद्रिय जो है वो किसके वश में होती है? मनस, राइट? नॉट बुद्धि. Indriyas are controlled by Manas. Manas is controlled by Buddhi. So, Indriya, therefore, the Manas is Indra here. The Manas is Indra. And if the Mandra, and Indra का नेचर कैसा है हम लोगों ने देखा है, वो हर समय चंचल रहता है, उसके अंदर में ग्रीड आता है, उसके अंदर में लस्ट आता है, उसके अंदर में इनसिक्योरिटी आती है, right? He feels insecure, and therefore he goes out and sending apsaras to rishis and all those things that he does. That is because of the way our mind behaves. So Indra is a very clear example of the behavior of our mind. So therefore, if you want to worship her sacred feet, you have to dissociate from the Indriyas. You have to dissociate your mind from the Indriyas. So therefore, he says, mind controls the Indriyas. Liberation happens through the mind, but it only happens when the mind has to be purified by surrender of the ego to her feet. So Indra and the other gods, they could not control their own senses, right? So therefore, who stops them? Anima and etc. They stop them at the gate and say, "Acha, tum log ko mera shakti chahiye. Le jao. Jao. You take Anima, you take Garima, you take Laguna, right? You take Prapti, all those Ashtasiddhis. They are standing at the gate. And Indra and so on and so forth, who are the lesser gods, they get satisfied with that and they go away. Basically talking about what? That if we keep our goal at material benefits, we will get material benefits from Devi. But those are temporary. Indra's post is temporary. Next Kalpa, there will be a new Indra. So the mind, its temporariness is overcome when we worship at her feet. So here he talks about this. Also, if you look at the Meru, at the first Avarana itself, the 4 gates of the Sri Chakra, these are guarded by Anima and other Siddhi Devis. So when you look at the entire construction of the Mahameru, then you will see that Anima and etc. are at the first Avarana itself. They are the lowest of the powers of Devi. And depending upon the fact that you actually ignore them, you pay respect to them, but you don't desire them, they allow you to pass. And you go to the next Avarana. And you move forward. So the intensity, sincerity of our worship at Devi's feet, the supernatural powers come and then they are ignored. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say that acquiring siddhis or becoming siddha in certain powers in the path of sadhana is a natural outcome. और इसका सबसे पहला होता है वाक सिद्धि, राइट. अभी अचानक से वो कोई है व्यक्ति, उसको बोल देता है वो बहुत गर्मी है, कल बारिश गिरनी चाहिए, and suddenly the next day you will find torrential rain happening, right? Now what will happen to this person? देखा, मैंने बोला और बारिश हो गई, खत्म. उसकी जर्नी वहां stop. His journey stops there. But he say, oh God, I said this and that is why this happened. Let me discard this. I will ignore this. I will first control my tongue. I will not speak. I will not say something that is contrary to nature. And over a period of time, that siddhi will go away. फिर वो सिद्धि नहीं रहती है. वैसा नहीं कि अच्छा वो सिद्धि थी, उसके बाद फिर अचानक से वो सिद्धि चली गई, यानी you have gone down in tapas. No, what has happened is actually you have overcome those siddhis. You have crossed those siddhis. And such a person can, if necessary, call on the Devi and say, Mother, for the benefit of somebody else, I need you to help me to give him help. Without ego. Oh, Mother, you are the one who are going to help him. Just use me as your instrument and make me help that person. Ram Prasad used to be a very famous, much before Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Ram Prasad was another Kali devotee and he has written a lot of Kali devotional songs in Bengali, obviously. These are called Ram Prasadi Shyama Sangeet. Shyama was the name in which he used to address Kali. And one of the famous ones, उसके अंदर में एक line है, उसमें बोलता है, आमी जंत्र तुमी जंत्री. मैं तो यंत्र हूँ, तुम यंत्री हो. आमी रथ हो, तुमी रथी. मैं तो सिर्फ रथ हूं, तुम रथी हो. जैसा चलाओगी वैसा मैं चलूंगा. इस भावना से जब वो होता है, तब वो सिद्धि आपके माध्यम से प्रकट होके इट कैन बी यूज टू अफेक्ट और इम्पैक्ट समबडी, नॉट एट योर विश बट एट हर विश. But initially, these become temptations. Not that they are trying to tempt you. It is not that, oh, tempting is the job of the devil. No. It is not. These are not devils. These are Devis. They are Amshas of Devis. It is not their job to tempt you. You become tempted by the powers that are displayed. See, a lot of times people, when they have discussions about spiritual people, they always ask, अच्छा तो कैसा miracles आपने देखा है? कैसा miracles देखा है आपने? उसके पास कैसा miracles होता है? क्या miracles होते हैं? And I always used to say, and my reply to such people who ever ask me this is that वो मेरे मन को बदल सकता है, इससे ज्यादा क्या बड़ा miracle है? Just think. वो मेरे अंदर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ला सकता है, इससे बड़ा miracle क्या चाहिए आपको? A life with Gurudev, very, very rare that we could perhaps pick up, and not me, but a lot of people, so many people he has impacted. Very rarely in all his biographies, all the days with Gurudev, talks with Gurudev, experiences with Gurudev, you will rarely find him, somebody talking about the fact that he displayed some extraordinary power. Very rare. It is there, sometimes it has happened, but it is very, very rare. His extraordinary power was that whoever came in contact with him transformed completely. Not only when you were in his presence, but even afterwards. Change nahi, transformation. Change तो पानी से बर्फ, बर्फ से पानी. मगर जब वो जो कैटरपिलर बटरफ्लाई बन जाता है, तो वापस कैटरपिलर नहीं बन सकता है, ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाता है. That transformation is what the realized master does. So he says here that they get entangled with these Ashtama Siddhis, and then they don't continue their efforts to attain liberation, just exactly like Indra, that is, those who are stuck with the Jnanendriya and the Karma Indriyas. In Lalita Sahasranamam, we see her names Siddheshwari. Siddheshwari is our Kuladevi, and she is why we named our son also Siddhesh. So Siddheshwari, she who is the ruler of all the Siddhis. Another name is also Siddhamata, right? We see that name also in Lalita Sahasranam. Siddhamata, she gives birth to all the Siddhis. But what happens? You get stuck with those Siddhis and you forget her, and you get engrossed in the sensory pleasures of the power that I am getting because of these Siddhis. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa once was going in from somewhere to somewhere. It was very dark, and there were two brothers along with him. They said, "Okay, don't worry, we will show you the light." And they removed their shirt and they stood with their back. And from the back, a beam of light fell on the road, and the road was illuminated, and Ramakrishna could go home. After he went back, he called these two people in the next day morning. And when they bowed down to him, he kept rubbing his hands on their backs. They felt they were being blessed. When they got up from that bowing down, they realized that all their siddhis had been taken away. They had lost all their siddhis. They started thinking, what did you do? What did you do? And he said, I made you progress in your spiritual path because you were stuck with the siddhis. So, these Shaktis who guard the extreme outer wall in the first avarana of the Sri Chakra, you cannot enter into inside. So here you have said that if you want to, in terms of Lalita Sahasranamam, you can see that we are, see the process of Karma Yoga is to practice karma, practice kriya, action, without any expectation of result. No. It's not about that. It's without being attached to the results. And kriya is necessary as a better aid to meditation. So that is why one of the favorite things that he used to teach us was japa, 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 all the time. The reason is the japa helps you to bring Indra into control. राइट ऋषि जब बैठता है तपस में तो इंद्र का बोलते हैं सिंहासन हिल गया, उसका सिंहासन हिल जाता है. सिंहासन हिलने का मतलब द मनस इज नाउ रियलाइजिंग दैट इट इज नॉट द सुप्रीम, देयर इज समथिंग इवन मोर हायर व्हिच इज कंट्रोलिंग इट. सो सच अ पर्सन in the Bhagavad Gita it says he is yoga rudha, right? In chapter 4 we saw, chapter 4 we see, chapter 5, chapter 6, yoga rudha, we see the word. In the Kathopanishad also there is a reference saying that immature people They run after the external objects and they invariably get caught in the net of death. Nachiketas was so mature. He was only 12 years old. And the Yamadharmaraj was showing him, see these elephants, see those horses, see these beautiful palaces, see these apsaras. I know you are too young to think about apsaras, but when later on you will need them, they will be very useful for you. Now see them. And he declares in a loud voice, Vahaya tava hasti ashwa. Vahaya, take away. Not interested. Give me that knowledge that I am asking for. And Yamadharmaraj was forced because of the determination of the true seeker. So therefore, while one of the things we talk about is antarmukha, what is it? What do we say? Antarmukha? क्या बोलते हैं क्या हुआ ललिता सहस्रनामम अंतर्मुख
अंतर्मुख समाराध्य.
Correct. Antarmukha samaradhya, and then immediately after that bahirmukha durlabha. If you are engrossed in the external world, bahirmukha, then it is not easy to get her. She is inside us, and therefore we have to turn in to see her. So that is the purport or meaning. Yes,
I
please,
have
go
one
ahead.
question to ask.
Yes.
So, this premise of this shloka, Acharya has mentioned it before also in different ways, right? Now, I want to know why at this point he mentions Devi as staying in Shiva's heart. Of course,
Thank you very much. Very good.
directly to me, it actually indicates Shiva Shakti union, but why mention Shiva now?
That is exactly, that's all. So what happened is he took us the whole circle and he is bringing us back to Shiva through Shakti. You cannot approach Shiva directly. Shiva is impossible to approach directly. Shiva as in Brahman. Shiva as in Brahman, not Shiva the Gangadhari, Jatadhari, Neelakanthi, Vasuki, गले में कंठ लगा के रुद्राक्ष माला पहन के त्रिशूल पहन के तांडव नृत्य करने वाले ईश्वर है. वो ईश्वर है, वो महेश्वर है. उसके पास हम लोग कभी भी जा सकते हैं. मगर ब्राह्मण के पास जाना है तो नाम रूप के विवर्जित वी कैन नॉट गो टू ब्राह्मण without accessing Ishvara. You cannot access Brahman. And that is why even in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vishwarupa darshan is of Ishvara, not of Brahman. There is a name, there is a form. He's seeing those names and forms. And that is why I told the story, right? Anything that has a name and form is me. And therefore Acharya uses her as the madhyam through which he is taking us back to Shiva. That is why he starts with where? Purarater antapura sthita. Where is the antapura? The bindu of the Mahameru. The ninth avarana, the bindu, that is Shiva. Where Shiva and Shakti have united and become that which is one. Ekameva dityam. There is no duality. That point he is leading us back again, and therefore he talks of this. See, the inner chamber of Shiva is not a physical space. It is the bindu, that point of chit. And goddess here, we can indicate it with Kundalini Shakti rising up into the Parabindu Sahasrara. And the Anima, Laghima, Mahima, Garima, Prapti, Ishtakamya, all of these are the threshold guardians. So into Shiva Shakti Aikya, the Pravesh is beyond the Siddhis, is the actual meaning. If you have to look at it from a purely Advaitic viewpoint, then you are saying Shakti is Brahman's power of manifestation, and the inner chamber is the pure Atman, pure consciousness. And only the mind which is Nirvikalpa can go to Brahman. The Siddhis are the distractions in Maya. Makes sense now?
Vikalpa meaning? Vikalpa meaning, yes.
Vikalpa means that which has an alternative. No.
Deformity. No.
No. That is Vikalanga. This is Vikalpa, means that which has an alternative. That which has an alternative, which means there will be duality. Nirvikalpa means there is no duality.
Only one. The other word I wanted to. Sorry.
Please go ahead.
Continue.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you were continuing on this point. Please finish, then I will ask.
So Nirvikalpa. So there is, see, actually when we, okay, anyway, at some point of time we will have to start with Sri Vidya. So that time when we talk about it, there will be different levels of Samadhi that we will be talking about. Right? The basic level of Samadhi is Samadhi. Sama, even the intellect. जब मेरा इंटेलेक्ट समा पे रूप पे पहुंच जाता है, स्थिर हो जाता है, then that is samadhi. Then there is a stage where you are unconscious of this external world, but you are conscious of what is happening inside. Right? You would have seen sometimes that people have gone into sitting in deep meditation, they have gone into a trance, their eyes will be watering, their face has become flushed, their chest has become red. Right? They have gone inside, but they come out of it again. And that is called Savikalpa Samadhi. And then there is another stage. Now there are actually 9 types. I am jumping grades. So then there is a stage where there is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I also don't exist. There is nothing excepting consciousness. Everything is me. Normally, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa says that you and I, people like you and I, we cannot live, once we hit Nirvikalpa Samadhi, we will then not come back. And the body will shed after another 30 days, 40 days or so, the body will go. But then people like him, people like Ramana, they would be able to come back from that stage. They would be able to descend from that stage. That is why it is called Avatara. Avatar does not mean he is sitting in the clouds and he will come down. Right? Avatar means to descend, to go to that stage of Nirvikalpa Samadhi and then come down and live in the world, but yet be in continuous Samadhi. Such a stage is called Sahaja Samadhi. This is the highest stage. You are living in the world, but you are in the constant Samadhi. So people like Ramana Maharshi, people like Ramakrishna Paramahansa, these people were always in the... And Ramakrishna Paramahansa, however, he always used to say, I don't want to be in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Keep me in Bhava Mukha. At that point where I can see you and I can see the world. So I'm in constant awareness of you and I'm in constant awareness of the world and I am able to balance between the two and live there. It is called Bhava Mukha. Yes, please, your question.
I was looking at the word Tarala. Is it also a word that is referred to the flow of water or the...
Correct. So anything that is flowing, anything that has changing is called Tarala. Therefore, our Manas is always called Tarala. वो क्या है वो भजन है ना अनूप जलोटा का जल से पतला कौन है तो बोलते जल से पतला ज्ञान है नहीं जल से पतला मन है वो और भी फ्लो करता है so that is the verse number 95. We'll go to 96. Kalatram vaidhatram kati kati bhajante na kavayah. Kalatram vaidhatram kati kati bhajante na kavayah. Shriyo devyah ko vana bhavati pati kairapi dhanehi. Shriyo devyah को वा न भवति पतिकैरपि धनैः कलत्रं वैधात्रं कति कति भजन्ते न कवयः श्रियो देव्यः को वा न भवति पतिकैरपि धनैः महादेवं हित्वा तव सति सती नाम चरमे महादेव हित्वा तव सति सती नाम चरमे कुचाभ्यामासङ्गः कु कुरवक कुरवकतरोरप्यसुलभः कुचाभ्यामासङ्गः कुरवक कुरवकतरो कुरवकतरोरप्यसुलभः कलत्र वैधात्रं कति कति भजन्ते न कवयः श्रियो देव्या को वा न भवति पतिकैरपि धनैः महादेव हित्वा तव सति सती नाम चरमे कुचाभ्यामासङ्गः कुरवकतरोरप्यसुलभः कलत्रं वैधात्रं कलत्रम वैधात्रम मीन्स वाइफ ऑफ ब्रह्मा विधाता विधाता कौन है ब्रह्मा का नाम है विधाता वैधात्रम वाइफ ऑफ ब्रह्मा कलत्रम वैधात्रम कति कति कवयः कति कति इन्यूमरेबल कवयः पोएट्स भजन्ते ना नॉट प्रेइंग नॉट वर्शिपिंग श्रियो देव्या श्रीदेवी श्रियो देव्याः and in addressing goddess Lakshmi को वा न भवति पतिः those who have not attained her Lakshmi right को वा न भवति पतिः कैरपि धनैः with a little wealth महादेवं हित्वा accepting Shiva उसके रहित महादेव के रहित महादेवं हित्वा तव your पराशक्ति को बोल के सती faithful wife सतीनाम चरमे foremost of all the satis कुचाभ्याम असंगः contact कुचाभ्याम your breasts कुरवक तरो अपि असुलभाः it is difficult even for the kuravakataru is mehendi right kuravakataru so it is difficult even for the mehendi so what he is saying is innumerable number of poets they run after Saraswati those with a little wealth they run after Lakshmi but you who are the foremost of all the satis you cannot be touched your bosoms cannot be touched even by the henna tree now what is this what is the meaning now firstly generally people say oh okay so this is a Shakta tradition so therefore they have this is a Shaiva tradition so therefore they have said oh Lakshmi is useless Saraswati is useless no that is not what he is talking about he says that by hard work or by intense effort Saraswati and Lakshmi are attainable मैं यदि पढ़ाई करूं तो सरस्वती की कृपा मुझे प्राप्त हो सकती है मैं यदि अत्यंत परिश्रम करूं तो मुझे लक्ष्मी की कृपा प्राप्त हो सकती है मगर पराशक्ति की कृपा प्राप्त होना असंभव है बिना शिव के बिना शिव के मेहंदी हर औरत हाथ में लगाती है राइट in earlier days the breasts used to be painted with henna to make the breasts look bright and colorful right that is why he's saying कुचाभ्याम आसंगः तो मेहंदी भी उसको टच नहीं कर सकती है मेहंदी which is just a decoration even that cannot touch her unless accepting for Shiva महादेव हिताया बिना महादेव के बिना शिव के which means what when you approach Shakti and you are approaching her as an ordinary worship then you will get ordinary benefits you will get the benefits of learning you will get the benefits of wealth you are approaching her as very ordinary but when you want to approach her as manifested Brahman then Shiva Brahman cannot be taken away from her. Shiva and Shakti are one. So we say person who has got, जिसको क्या बोलते हैं, बहुत सुंदर से बात कर सकता है, सुंदर से लिख सकता है, सुंदर से पढ़ाई कर सकता है, सुंदर से नाटक कर सकता है, सुंदर से नाच सकता है, हम लोग इसको क्या बोलते हैं? सरस्वती कटाक्षम। राइट, एक नजर सरस्वती की पड़ गई और बस उसके अंदर में वो सब सब कुछ प्राप्त हो गया। दोज हु आर अर्निंग वेल्थ एथिकली, उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? बोलते हैं लक्ष्मी कटाक्षम। बट व्हाट अबाउट शक्ति कटाक्षम? व्हाट अबाउट भगवती कटाक्षम?
शिव कृपा प्राप्त होगी।
कटाक्ष किंकिरी भूत कमला कोटि सेविता। याद कीजिए ललिता सहस्रनाम। कटाक्ष किंकिरी भूता कमला कोटि सेविता। एक उसके कटाक्ष से करोड़ों लक्ष्मियों की सेवा उसको खुद प्राप्त होती है। पराशक्ति is the source of Saraswati. Parashakti is the source of Lakshmi. And if Parashakti is worshipped, I do not need to worship anybody else. Right? यदि मेरे पास, मान लीजिए कि मेरा रास्ता ठीक करवाना है, घर के सामने का रास्ता, छोटा काम, घर के सामने का रास्ते के अंदर में बहुत बड़ा गड्ढा है और मुझे ठीक करवाना है। अब मुझे कैसे करवाना पड़ेगा? तो पहले मैं अपने म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के पास जाऊंगा, फिर उधर से वो लोग पैसा खाने की बात करेंगे, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे। मैं बात करते करते मेरे नेबर से बात कर रहा था, मेरे नेबर बोलते एक मिनट रुको। वो फोन करता है, हाँ सर 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 सर, एक दो मिनट लगेगा, मेरे घर के सामने एक बहुत बड़ा गड्ढा है, आप जरा बस जिसको बीच का आपको फोन करना कर दीजिएगा। थैंक यू सर, फोन रख दिया। तो मैंने पूछा भाई किसको फोन किया? बोले मोदी साहब को फोन किया। अब मोदी साहब को यदि उसके पास फोन करने की कैपेसिटी है तो वो जाएगा क्या बीएमसी के कॉर्पोरेटर के पास, फिर वहां से वो पुलिस वाले के पास, फिर वहां से मिनिस्टर के पास, लोकल अर्बन मिनिस्टर के पास क्यों जाएगा वो? तो जिसके पास पराशक्ति को एक्सेस है वो मैं क्यों दूसरे के पास दौड़ूं? उनके माध्यम से मुझे सब कुछ जो मुझे मेरे लिए उचित है वो मुझे प्राप्त करके देगी। मैं बालक हूं तू माता है, जन्मों से है हमारा नाता। राइट, भजन है ना? एग्जैक्ट वर्ड याद नहीं है मुझे, जागरण में गाते हैं ये भजन। मैं बालक तू माता, जन्मों का है हमारा नाता, ऐसा ही कुछ लाइन है। ये जन्मों का नाता है हमारे हमारा। और उस नाते के दौरान मैं उससे ये डिमांड कर सकता हूं, माँ मुझे ये चाहिए, मगर मिलेगा क्या मुझे? जो मुझे मेरे लिए उचित है। भाई मैं तो हनुमान हूं नहीं कि फल चाहिए तो भाई चल कूद पड़ और सूरज को मुंह में ले ले। मैं ऐसे स्थूल शरीर वाला एक सशरीर एक व्यक्ति हूं। तो मेरे लिए जो शरीर के लिए, मेरे मन के लिए, मेरी बुद्धि के लिए, मेरे विकास के लिए जो उचित है, मेरी माँ बेस्ट जानती है। मुझे 106 का बुखार है, मुझे बहुत प्यास लग रही, मम्मी मुझे बर्फ का वाला पानी दो। आप देंगे आपके बेटे बच्चों को? विल यू एवर डू दैट? जितना भी रोले, चिल्ला चिल्ला के रोले, आप क्या बोलेंगे? चल एक काम करते, एक ड्रॉप डाल दूंगी। नहीं, यू विल नेवर डू दैट, यू विल नॉट इवन गिव वन ड्रॉप ऑफ कोल्ड वाटर। व्हाई? Because you know better than the child. The child is trapped in its cocoon of desires. When I say child, I'm talking of us. They're trapped in that cocoon of desires. And in that cocoon, we start shouting, मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे वो चाहिए. You get what you are need, what is good for you when you access her. And she is capable of giving the ultimate gift of moksha. And if I can see, there is a story. So there were some friends, and they were told कि उन लोग धनार्जन के लिए गए। तो धनार्जन के लिए जब गए तो एक ऋषि के पास गए, तो ऋषि ने बोला कि कोई बात नहीं, एक ये ले लो, ये है एक बॉल ऑफ वुल और वट एवर, एक बॉल है, उसको डाल दो, वो जहां जहां गुड़कते गुड़कते जाएगा, उसको जहां रुकेगा वहां तुम लोग खोदो, तुम लोगों को धन मिलेगा। तो पहले जो गया तो खोदा, तो उसमें बहुत सारे कॉपर कॉइन्स मिले। तो एक ने कहा ये बहुत अच्छा है, ये लेकर वापस आ गया। But the ball suddenly started rolling again. So all of them rushed after the ball. The second time, the guy got gold. Again, that picked up the silver and he went away. The third guy got gold. And the fourth guy is not going to stop. So he goes and he goes the point, and now he's got huge amount of diamonds. Even that he took. Even then, the ball did not stop. It went on. And the last person, he got a Chintamani. Now he can get whatever he wants, no? Where do you want to stop? वो जो चिंतामणि है, जो हमारे पास एक्सेसिबल है, उसके पास जाना है, या बीच में हमें कॉपर, गोल्ड, सिल्वर सब कुछ आएगा रास्ते में? शी इज भुक्तिदायिनी, शी इज मुक्तिदायिनी, शी विल गिव यू बोथ। मुक्ति भी देगी, वो भुक्ति भी देगी। भुक्ति हमारे लिए जरूरी है, हम संसार में है, हमारे लिए भुक्ति जरूरी है। पुरुषार्थ के अंदर में धर्म, अर्थ, काम लिखा है ना, काम पहले धर्म, धर्म से काम करके अर्थ जो प्राप्त होता है, उससे धार्मिक काम के लिए जो जो हमें जो अर्थ व्यय करना है, तो फिर हमें मोक्ष का दरवाजा खुलता है। पुरुषार्थ प्रदा, शी सेज, राइट? ललिता सहस्रनाम में बोलते हैं ना, शी इज पुरुषार्थ प्रदा। So therefore, धन इज नॉट रॉन्ग, धन की तृष्णा रॉन्ग है। आचार्य सेज इन वर्स 2 ऑफ भज गोविंदम, मूढ़ जही ही धनागम तृष्णा। ही डज नॉट से धन त्याग करो, ही सेज धन का आगम की तृष्णा को त्याग करो। All the time that expectation, I will get this, I will get this, I will get this, that thirst or desire of that is there. So therefore, and another thing is, nobody can touch her excepting through Shiva. Remember, verse number 2 itself, Acharya had said that uske पैर के रज को, the धूल, the dust that is coming from her feet, Brahma collects and creates the 14 worlds. Vishnu sustains the universe. Shiva destroys and creates Pralay. So therefore, while we are reaching the end of the Soundarya Lahari, you can clearly see that we are reaching a point of, again, talking of joint of unity of Shiva Shakti Aikyaha. So, Parashakti, she is inseparable from Shiva. And she is not independently attainable. मैं शक्ति की ही पूजा करूंगा. See, there is a story of Bringi. Some of you know the story. So, Bringi शिव उपासक था. तो उसने भगवान को बोला कि मैं आपसे आपकी परिक्रमा करना चाहता हूं. तो बोले आ जाओ करो. तो बीच में देवी वाम भागे शक्ति स्थिता, तो वाम भाग में महादेवी पास में बैठी हुई थी. वो बीच में से घुसने की कोशिश कर रहा था. तो शिव जी ने ऐसे गुस्से से देखा अब उसको कि ये क्या, तो कमर पे हाथ रख के पास खींच लिया. पास खींच लिया तो फिर भी वो घुसने की कोशिश कर रहा है बीच में. वो जो भंवरा होता है ना, भंवरा, he takes on the form of a wasp and tries to go through. Shiva then smiled, pulled her even a little more, and they fused. And we call that Ardhanarishwara. Actually, that is only one aspect of the fact that Shiva and Shakti are inseparable. So, the Kurvaka tree, the henna, external decoration, external getting stuck in ritual. Ritual is not unimportant, but ritual is not the end of it. Ritual is necessary for somebody who has not yet understood how to stabilize his mind. See, even in our rishis, पहले हम लोगों के समित है, ब्राह्मण है, समित ब्राह्मण के बाद आरण्यक है, आरण्यक के बाद उपनिषद है. These are the four parts of any Veda. The Brahmanas and the Samhitas, what do? They actually tell you how to conduct a yagya, how to do a particular worship, how to invoke Indra, how to invoke Agni, etc., etc. Once they had mastered this, they said, now let us do this mentally. So in the Taittiriya Aranyaka, for example, the entire Aranyaka is about how you can do an Ashwamedha Yagya in your mind. A 1 year long process. But you sit inside the forest and in mentally you dig the hole, you make the Yagashala, you get the horse goes around the countryside, all of that through mantras, you can do the entire Ashwamedha Yagya. So now for such a person, the external ritual has become useless. The external ritual does not touch. And then he arrives at a point where he says, okay, now I have understood all this. Now let me dive deeper. And then he starts questioning. That is the Upanishad, Vichara. So the process is there. You need to use the ritual. But don't get stuck in the ritual. Don't think that the ritual is the ultimate. So, if I leave behind Mahadeva, I cannot attain her. That much we have to understand. Mahatripura Sundari sits in the Bindu. Saraswati and Lakshmi are in one of the outer avaranas. Only Shiva Shakti Aikya, one can attain the highest state. So that is the meaning of the verse number 96. Then, okay, any other question? Otherwise, we will do the shloka for the Shakti Pithas. The shlokas are easy. I am not chanting the shlokas. Let me start with the meanings over there. So we said at Hingula, her Brahmarandra fell. Last time we saw that. The Bhairava over there is called Bhimalochana. And the goddess is called Kottari. Right? Kottari, she is the naked one, embodying the three gunas. That is the meaning of that particular verse. In the next verse says, my third eye fell at Karavira. My third eye fell at Karavira. Anybody knows where is Karavira?
Karavi is a one kind of flower, no, Anna?
No. Karavi is the part. Karavira Pura. Anybody knows?
Is it Nasik?
No. Okay, one more guess. It is in Maharashtra.
Saptashrungi.
No.
Nasik.
No.
Kolhapur.
Kolhapur's original name was Karavirapura. So she says, Karavire Trinetram me Devi Mahishamardini. So my third eye fell in Karavirapura. And the Devi over there, I am called Mahishamardini. Right? If you go to Kolhapur, she is called Mahalakshmi over there, but people of Kolhapur don't call her Mahalakshmi. People of Kolhapur call her Amba Bai. Amba means mother, Bai means mother. Mother. She is the first mother. When Shakti first manifested, when Brahman first manifested, she manifested in the form of Adi Parashakti of what is called Mahalakshmi. The image of Mahalakshmi in Karavirapura is not of the Mahalakshmi that we normally know, sitting over there with two hands, one having lotus and giving flowers and what gold coins and all that. No, she holds a khatvanga. She holds a khatvanga, big gada. She holds a fruit in her hand. She holds a pan, a vessel for drinking. She has a Shivalinga on her head. You can see that if you go in the early morning for Abhishekam. You can see her actual form. So over there, she is called Mahishamardini. And Krodhisho Bhairavastatra Sarvasiddhi Pradayakaha. So, Bhairava over there, Krodhisha, there is a Shiva temple nearby. It is called Krodhisha. So the Krodhisha, and whenever you go to a Shakti Peeth, you must always go to the associated Bhairava temple. So that Bhairava temple over there is called Krodhisha. And he is the giver of Sarvasiddhi. She is the giver of She is the giver of Sarvasiddhi over there. She can give you all. So each of these places, they are meant for attaining certain benefits in the path of our journey. So all the siddhis that we were talking about, if you want them properly, not for acquiring them, but for transcending them, then Karavirapura is the place where you go and do your worship. Right? Then the next shloka is that, I mean, the same shloka, the line basically it talks about where she is in her nose fell, Sugandha. Sugandhayam nasika me devas trayamba bhairavaha. Now, the Bhairava is called Trayamba. Trayamba means three-eyed. Sugandha, the Devi is also called Sugandha over there. And the nose fell over there. This place is in a place called Trimbak, not the Trimbak of Nashik, but the Trimbak in Bangladesh. This Trimbak is in Bangladesh. So there are a few of these peethas that we cannot visit just like that. We cannot just walk out and go and say, oh, I am going to Trimbaka and then I will see her over there. The Devi is called not Sugandha, she is called Sunandha. Sorry, my mistake. So she is called Sugandha. The place is called Sugandha. The Bhairava is called Trimbaka, and Devi is called Sunanda. Her nose fell over there, and because it is her nose, therefore our pranic purification happens at that place. That is these are the few ones that we have done. We have done 3 of the Shakti Peethas. Next time onwards, we will do a few more together. So that we can finish along with Soundarya Lahari. So we'll do 8, 9 or 10 together so that we can finish along with Soundarya Lahari. And then we will start something new. Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om